Hello and welcome, everybody. It's not quite just me tonight. I do, in fact, have Johnny B and Mike in the room. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Unfortunately, trying to have two cameras and microphones in the same room was causing a lot more trouble than we thought. So, including some horrible noises, but a little bit of fun with some round robin derby noises as well. So, yeah, we were supposed to have Dwayne from Plastic Crack, Scania, playing a bit of Battletech head-to-head tonight. Unfortunately, he's having equipment problems, so it's going to be just me and the boys, of course, doing a bit of hobbying. So let's have a look at what's going on in the chat. Rich John is here. Ago9 is here. Owen Glendua is here. Subs. Tonight, Kaiser will be sculpting an entire 2,000-point Space Marine army using lard.
Nice.
That's quite an achievement. It's quite an achievement. Paul Parker, Tony Holton, Hamster is taking time to get up to speed. That is a fact, mate. There are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what limited edition Primaris Lieutenant one wants. The other is getting it. Well, there you go. I love me a Primaris Lieutenant. It means there's new stuff coming, right? Tony, get back to painting, says Battle Knights. Hello, Jason.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kaiser revoked his internet privileges again. I tell you what, if she ever tried to turn the internet off, it's not me that she'd have a problem with. It's our child. He would absolutely smash things up. She found the pile of shame. Mrs. Kaiser sells my pile of shame, mate. If it doesn't get built quickly, it goes on eBay. So then, where do we get to? Tony Holton only places buildings now. I have reading glasses, ostensibly for work, but mostly for painting, actually. A cup of tea, turn it on and off again. Yeah, exactly. We tried that. When do we start singing underneath the chestnut tree? Whenever you want, mate. Whenever you want. Subs is painting an entire 3 mil Roman Legion.
Ouch.
Oh, mate, 3 mil. I used to love the teeny weeny scales, but I've gone off them as my eyesight has worsened. I'm really struggling to clear the throat today. Clear the pipes. Rich M has joined us.
Oh.
Shackles and Sprues. Brooklyn Hope Jensen. Hi, more ball action. And this, wow, that's seriously committed. You've got a ball action army as a thumbnail there. Shackles and Sprues working on Oddballs Heroes tonight. Nice. All Flames of War. Yeah, I mean we do love the World War II stuff. It has to be said. So hobbying tonight, I am gonna be working on 4-ball action. The SDK said 250s here. Although that's going to be a pretty quick but messy job. I've got to get a sepia wash on them and then let them dry before I overbrush to bring the color back up. I wonder why I bothered doing that process. After that, I will get some. John has carefully built and primed the crew figures for me, so I'm going to get some color down on them. Some Vallejo Feldgrau. Willie Mike, what are you working on?
Mantic dwarves.
Shall I flip this round so you can see them ugly fellas back there? Yeah. Look at that. Hey, this is what you need. You need to put your mates to work.
Bit fiddly to put together. We actually ran a couple of dwarf on dwarf action games testing out Mantic this afternoon. So we're adding up some gun shooters and crossbow shooters and some more. Going to be some more shield breakers.
Yeah, so, the two-handed dudes did all right.
Yeah.
Jibbies?
I'm currently making Kaiser's Tyranids from Leviathan.
Very nice.
We're going to hopefully do those funky box sets again, the starter box sets, like whatever they're called.
Combat Patrols.
Because that was fun. No, not the Combat Patrols. They're like, this is the starter box set. This is the next one up. Doing that sort of jobbies. Because that was a bit of fun as well. Certainly got me painting some bits.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, guys, the idea tonight is just, I don't know, ask me anything or whatever. Ask us some questions while we do a bit of hobbying because tonight's guest has been unable to join us. So
Brooklyn Hope Jensen is saying he's painted 200 bolt action figures.
Since what? Since birth? I mean, that 200 is a lot. If that was this year, if that's since birth, yeah. I mean, I guess it's still a lot. That is not the right wash.
You can do it.
I can do it.
You
Can't do it without.
it.
Can't do anything without Agrax Earthshade. Everybody knows that. Although I've gone off it.
Oh, the new blend's not so good.
The new blend is too dark for me. I feel I might have to try what's it mid-tone.
No, don't do it.
What am I talking about? I don't mean
Army Painter.
I don't mean the tin of floor polish one.
Okay, good.
I mean the stuff that comes in the tube.
Still,
Stuff
it's the
that
same stuff but in the tube.
yeah, but it's not floor polish though, mate.
I've just started using the Army Painter mid-tone in the small dropper bottle style, and I found that really good.
Can you guys hear when Mike and John are saying something? Those of you that are watching, let us know.
John, you legend. Finishing a strong tone wash on 80 Road Trader Imperial Guard. Mwah!
Very nice. Oh, he put some pictures in the Facebook, I think.
Did he?
Mate,
I missed that.
You these are like legit original
Plastic
OG,
RCB
yeah.
07 or 9 or whatever it was.
200 figures in 1 year. Pretty good going. What's that? About one every 2 days, one every day and a third. Not keen on the new. No, mate. It's so much darker than what it was. I mean, you mix this about 50% with Lamia Medium, the one I've got at the moment, and John, I still feel it's too dark.
Yeah.
I feel the pigment must be different.
Definitely. It's a shame.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Army Painter guys are Danish, and I feel like they get like Danish +1, right?
Oh. Yeah, I guess so.
So I feel if they have a product, I should consider it.
What do they mix theirs with?
Lard, I reckon.
Lard.
Yeah, some kind of cow product.
Bacon fat, Danish bacon.
Bacon fat, maybe. Yeah. Absolutely. Charles Latora, I was going to work on my Graveyard Goblins and a Hex Encounter game. Busy sewing up granddaughter's large Olaf stuff toy.
Nice.
He's going to have a nice Prussian scar. Ah, yes. So there's you've seen a lot of the kind of Nazi officers. They have these horrific scars on their faces. There was a I think it was a staff college. There was this idea.
Was it Heidelberg?
Oh, I don't know which one it was. But they if they got a dueling scar, they would pack it with wadding to try and make it really pronounced. It was a real kind of mark of manliness among them.
Manly man.
Yeah. Like I've been brutally scarred, mate. Look at that. In dueling as well. I didn't need to do this. Nutters.
I'm sure it's Heidelberg.
Michael Wayne says, yes, we can. I forget what that's to. Perry's British Infantry for Sudan campaign. Lovely. Now, in Sudan, are we talking Chinese Gordon in Sudan, get murdered and everything? Or are we talking Lord Kitchener come back and murder them? Because it's really one-sided in both directions. And I've also it's interesting idea for wargaming, but the actual campaigns are horrifically one-sided. Rich M says, "Can hear you guys loud and clear."
I think Blackadder.
Yeah. I don't think the original campaign with Amadi was very successful. What style of BattleTech was going to be a classic Alpha Strike? No, mate. We were going to be playing it the one that Paradox published. They didn't develop it, but they published it. The video game, but it's a turn-based, not like Mech Warrior, real-time type thing. Then do I use Strong Tone? Find it really good. John is coming through loud and clear. We're behind in the chat. Sat down with 2 thin coats, paint range, sat there and played around with them all, including the new ones. Very impressed. The field grey is very good. Is it called field grey? They do it,
Wouldn't surprise me.
2 thin coat. This is the Duncan Rhodes.
Yeah.
Paint range, right? It's not just like the coat the arm stuff with different words on it or anything.
I mean, I think they're all just coat their arms with different words on it.
Yeah. Using the Imperial Guard in Grimdark Future rather than 40k. All right, one-page rules. Yeah, tried it, liked it a lot, actually. Ian Jackson, good lord, my man, good to see you, or at least hear you, or at least know that you're there. I know you've been unwell. Bill's been sort of keeping me a little bit in the loop, so good to know that you're still with us, my friend. Brooklyn, 1 every 2 days with school. That I'm 13. You're 13 years old. We shouldn't tell me that. This is kind of like a adult show. I hope the parents know.
Should be in bed, young man.
MfA, have you got the new Nordic Forces book for Team Yankee? So, Michael, they did send us PDF preview copy of Nordic Forces months ago. They send it out to a lot of contributors. They're getting really good at this. Battlefront sending. It started with Libby. But now that Ryan is kind of a bit more responsible for community contributors and so forth, they're very good at giving you early access to the information as YouTubers so you can prepare for it. I think we haven't done anything with it because we're not really a stats and rules channel. I could go through it for the sake of it, but I know that people like Harry are going to cover it in so much more detail and with so much more kind of knowledge and enthusiasm. So we're not keeping it from you. I just don't think it's what most of the viewers here. I think they'll watch like the Flames of War stuff even if they don't play it, maybe because they know there'll be a bit of World War II history in there. But I think if we start doing videos where we just pour over the stats in the way that I think some people do. So when a new book like Nordic Forces comes out, it's really about talking about the stats, other than the 10 seconds of going, oh, new Swedish S-tank in plastic. That's great. And that is great, but that is the length of my video.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys had a Facebook page. Just requested to join. There's 2 Facebook pages because of the way Facebook works. There's a Facebook page, but the problem with the Facebook page is it's very much intended for businesses, so we can push information out through it and you can respond to that, but you can't really post on there your own stuff. So we started up another Facebook group, which is Friends and Fans, which is where you can share your work, discuss with other people who enjoy the show, upload videos and things like that. That's fully open, and that's not about choices we've made. That's about how Facebook is structured. So ideally, if you're a fan of the show, you'll join both because we love to see what you're doing. It's quite small, the number of people on the Friends and Fans. So usually just, everyone that's a regular here will see what you've done. When will Tricorn hats come back into fashion, says Subs? I mean, I've got to say, mate, when did they go out of fashion? Tricorn hats, they're swag hats, aren't they? Mike, any views on that?
I wear a Tricorn. I like my hats. I tend to wear boonies and baseball caps, but yeah, get a nice Tricorn hat.
It was affordable. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
John, you're a Luton boy, born and bred. You're in
straw hats, mate.
Hat country, isn't it?
Straw hats all the way.
Straw hats all the way. Is that what it's about?
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Right. So, are you able to say when Tricorns are likely to come back in fashion?
Me?
Yeah.
Not really. No.
You don't have like an inside track on this.
I don't think they were ever in fashion, if I'm honest.
I mean, I think in the 17th century they were pretty big.
Nah, definitely. There they are. I've just seen Richard Mead's lovely Road Trader Imperial Guard. Yeah, Tricorns. Talking of which, I need to start painting that second crew for that Blood and Plunder game. I say painting the second crew. I'm not painting the first crew.
Building.
To make the second crew. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Blood and Plunder.
You guys could play Oak and Iron.
Yeah.
And then we can do this weird, really pathetic sort of zoom in thing with the camera and a really bad transition. And then we can move to Blood and Plunder.
Oh, right, with cutting out parties ashore.
Yeah.
Action on the high seas.
Oosh.
Yar. Yar is actually a rule in Oak and Iron. It's not as piratey as you might hope.
That was Wooly's favourite, I think.
It's a very good role.
Yep.
Brooklyn just finished painting the Hit the Beach Flames of War start. That is it remains, despite it being their kind of first of their new generation starter sets. I still think it's one of the best. Hit the Beach starter set is cracking value, really good. The only snag with it, if there is a snag, is it's not strictly the way that Flames of War forces are constructed. When you come out of that box, transition into main Flames of War, and you've got half a paratrooper infantry army, the start of an American tank army, and a German infantry company, but you're not quite done with any of them, which is a shame, which is a real shame.
Yeah, so that's how I ended up with nearly 40 Shermans.
Yeah, because you got just what I mean. The trick is you just buy 2 of those sets really and develop both of those armies.
Yeah.
Tony Houghton, you like this one, John? Been buying old style metal sods from one-page rules, collecting old metal GW for this rule set. Yeah, I've got a kid at school he was pre this edition. He was a Tyrannid player. He did not know that Tyrannids were going to be like de rigueur when he turned, by the time he was 13. He was a Tyrannid player, and he's been carrying around this original Screamer Killer lump of lead.
Shut up.
That he's very, very proud of. And his folks or his gran or somebody like that bought him it from the internet. And it's like, mate, you got this hobby bad. If at your age you want this is from way before you were born, and it's a hideous looking model.
Shut your face.
It's just like
They've modelled the new one on it.
Yeah, but much better.
All I remember from making metal Tyrannids is that they just didn't stay.
Yeah. No, this is when you learn about 2-part epoxy glues, and it might be dry tomorrow if you've got the right mixture.
Fun time.
Grey Primer. Hello, folks. I'm building a Blood Angels diorama whilst watching. Nice. So when you say that, I mean, I'm asking a question. I'm probably not going to get to the answer anytime soon. Have you already painted the models then? Is actually the kind of the setting that you're working on now? Or you still got the models to paint? I mean, you've got Curly Mike on the channel, loves himself a red Space Marine.
Oh.
I understand that he has Blood Bowl teams that are not red.
Yeah,
but I have not seen him have a non-red miniature apart from Mortarion. But I was really worried he was going to do that with Mortarion.
I think it's amazing what it does.
Hi all. First you watcher here, been watching your bolt action videos.
Oh, awesome. It's the first time he's joined the stream.
First time you're right, I see. So it's first time
been watching the bolt action.
Right, yeah. I think bolt action is what a lot of people like.
It's a solid game.
It's a solid game. It really is a solid game. I think there's a lot to like about it. Yeah, you can criticize it, and there's a lot you can criticize it for, but it's a fun game to play. And I think that's something that people often forget. They quest for complexity in their games, but I don't think they enjoy them when they're complexity when they play. I think they enjoy complexity when they prepare to play, if that makes sense. The kind of list building side of things. If you enjoy that, then that's great. Whereas people like me actually hate the list building aspect of games, just because of the time as much as anything. Not the time to build the list, but the time to know what a good list might look like.
But the dice system is just fantastic. The order dice, I love it.
Oh, for bolt, it's quite.
And the the interactivity. Even decisions like every time you shoot, we need interrupting the other guy. Said, "Can you just wait? Because I need to decide if I'm going down here." That's what makes bolt action such a good game. Those simple mechanics keeps it fresh. The slim chance of a double turn, the real swing of luck. Mortars hit you on a 6. I mean, come on. And yet they do hit. And they hurt when they do.
Both myself and Johnny B, we've got the magic hand in that bag.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of double turns, me and you.
The number of times it feels, and I'm sure it's not, but it feels to me like the number of times that we get to the end of the bag and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just you can have your go now, guys.
Yeah, it has been quite often.
Yeah. But you know, that's just the way it goes. I think and I think actually my win record is not as good as it used to. I used to be winning most of the games of Bolt Action, but I think you're winning more of them now, aren't you, John?
Me?
Yeah.
No, it just looks like I'm winning because I'm still happy at the end of the game. I think you're still winning by far, Bolt Action.
Do you reckon?
Like our combined arms campaign, for some reason I'm winning on the
campaign
game side of things.
Yeah.
I feel that's the case anyway.
Yeah, definitely you are. Yeah.
But whenever we have to play a Bolt Action game, which we generally do, you've won every one.
Have I?
Yes, mate.
Every one?
Every single one.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't.
But you're playing British in a 500-point game with 3 artillery.
Yeah, but you're playing Germans with, I don't know, with your brain, which is good. So
there you go.
Winner.
There's some fun games still to be seen as well. We've got a few in. Yeah.
Wally, Mike, and I have ring. So things have been a little bit slower on the channel lately. I'm sure you've probably noticed. I'm not saying that I'm like giving up or anything like that, but I had to take a bit of a rethink on the work-life balance. More than anything else, it's just kind of the end of I work in a school. It's towards the end of the academic year, and I'm just kind of a bit fat out. Really, I needed a little bit of a break. I probably didn't realize it that I needed that break. So, but we got loads of good stuff coming. This in the already filmed, we've got 2 Bolt Action games. We've got a cracking Bolt Action game I played with Wooly Mike, a while back, which was with the Hellcat and the Tiger.
Yeah,
the Hellcat and the Tiger, eh? And that was a really fun game because dice are it's a dice game that we're playing here, right? And the dice is where the fun is. That was a great game. Yeah. You want to ever see that, did the underdog do well in this? Like, well, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. There's that. We played another Bolt Action game after that, didn't we, Mike? And then we've also played 2 World of Tanks games. John and I have been preparing for some time for the return of SPQR.
We need to wrap that up, man. There's only so many times.
What do you mean? What do you mean wrap it up?
As in, like, can you just kill?
Can you just play the game?
Can you just win it?
Well, there was months and months where I needed to paint like 3 models, wasn't there?
Which I did.
And months had passed by then, so I perhaps lost focus a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to do another SPQR game at some point, but in a sort of in a far more exciting way, I guess, for you guys, is the reason Wooly Mike is here is because we are going to Battlefront Flames of War on Thursday to their HQ, and we're going to interview Pete Siminovich is over. So we're gonna have that. How did you get into wargaming? Oh, was it the D&D Red Box, or was it Gary Gygax and Chainmail?
What a surprise!
Same guy, or he's probably Hero Quest is probably a bit more modern for him. But we're gonna do that interview. Where do you come from and what do you do?
Where did you go,
my love? Where did you go, my lovely? Yeah.
Joe. I can't go because of the way I pronounce his name, unfortunately.
Yeah, there is that. So we get hopefully we get a couple of interviews while we're down there with him and some of the crew and see what they do up there in Nottingham. A week on Saturday, despite never having played a game of 10th edition and played very few games in 9th because I didn't like it, I'm going to a YouTuber tournament for 40k at Idic Beer's place. I think there's 16 people taking part. Idic Beer, if you don't know, he's the Necron enthusiast within the 40k sort of YouTubing community, and he runs this kind of YouTuber friends event, and myself and James Workshop are going to that, and John and I are getting ready to do the introductory 10th edition videos. I'm also massively fizzy about the return of 40k Epic. I can't. When I was a kid, as other people were into, 40k or fantasy 3rd edition as it was when I was the Adeptus Titanicus Epic. Those were my games. The idea of getting the tiny plastic Beyblades and so forth, it's very exciting to me, because I remember, that was my birthday one year. 2 metal shadow swords. Woo! Awesome. All right. So there's Duncan Rhodes Range. That's not easy to say if you're no focusing. It's actually Field Grey and called Field Grey. Transatlantis Games make them. Interesting. John, have you tried any of the Duncan Rhodes stuff?
Surprisingly, no, I haven't yet. And I don't know why I haven't. I guess it's because I've gone full.
Because you've gone full contrast.
Never go full speed paint, but I have. I've gone
it's army paint to speed pants, isn't it?
Yeah, I've gone full army paint to speed pants, and I'm enjoying it as my output is massive.
Your output is massive. Check this, girl.
My output, it is massive. Quality, well, it's not that different from like my major effort, but it's still quite not as classy as some of the pieces I've done. There's some speed pants from Mike's, just like showing me his
speed pants.
It's
all going on back there, like.
Just behind the camera there. Ooh, my.
Yeah, it's that dwarf action with speed pants going on back there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, so Kings of War was what we were playing. I don't think you actually mentioned the game.
Yes, sorry, yeah, Kings of War, yeah. Another, fast play, pretty lethal game. Kings of that does not look like Field Grey to me. Woo, that's not properly mixed. This Vallejo bottle does not have balls. That is the problem.
Boo.
That is the problem. Yeah. And Mike and I are going to play a bit more Oak and Iron as well, because it's the summer holidays from school. I get a bit of time off. I don't get all of it off. I've got things that I have to do, but I get a chunk of it off. But we get some stuff done, which includes practicing games that we don't know very well. So we're hoping to get some Oak and Iron in as well. I don't know if many of you watched our review of that, but if you've ever been interested in playing a tall ships game and just been bitterly disappointed by the quality of gameplay, this is a really modern take on it, with the initiative system, cards, upgrades. It's not just the list of ships and weapons. It really has been thought through, and it was quite an interesting game to play. It's obviously learned a lot from board game mechanics, I would say. I benefited a lot from those. So that can't be everything that's going on, but that's a lot of the things that are going on. There's loads of great stuff in the works, and obviously John and I are still going to be working on the Combined Arms campaign. Woolly Mike's already doing it's the DAC you're doing.
I'm doing it's 2 forces. I'm doing the DAC and the Bersaglieri. So you can
mix it up a bit.
Yeah. So we're going to have
different armies
and DAC against the Commonwealth in the desert.
Nice.
And so that when the Northwest European Combined Arms wraps up, which John and I think the points, we're about halfway through it, don't they? When that finishes, we had said that we looked at doing Far East Japan. Now I went off the idea when I looked more closely at the models. To be honest, they're a bit iffy. There's a bit, buck teeth and glasses Japanese guys. Like, this is not a carry-on film, man. Let's hit the 21st century. So we're going to do Western Desert instead. Mike's going to do Axis, and so that not every battle is the same kind of 500 to 800 points or whatever. He's doing some Italians and some Panzer Grenadiers, which is good. And I am not yet decided what I'm going to do. I do fancy Indians. I do fancy a Sikh platoon. And I do fancy myself some Kiwis. Because they're the forgotten. Anzacs mostly Australians. But Kiwis, mate, check them hats out. They are sweet.
Well, that's the thing that was interesting I discovered is that some of the Italian vehicles come with Australian transfers because
they nicked them.
The decals, yeah, the Australians were using
captured Italian tanks, tankettes, and garbage, basically. Yeah. Recently found 20 bolt action Germans and British infantry in a bits box. Ooh. Sweet find, sweet find. I want the stats that say there weren't 5,000 Pumas and King Tigers everywhere. Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, the rarest of those two listed there is the Puma. I think the Puma is less than 200 built in total ever. I think only a handful of divisions. So specifically, they only actually appear in a handful of divisions, and I think that they were in Normandy though. It might be that it was the Hermann Goering Panzer Division and Panzer Lehr. And the great thing about Panzer Lehr is they basically got everything because they were supposed to be like the test, the example of what the new 1944 division would be. And there was enough equipment to give it exactly one Panzer Division, a full set of everything. And that was Panzer Lehr. And it appears in Normandy. It gets bombed to death and then destroyed. So it's very exciting, and it didn't actually achieve all that much. Pre-ordered the S-103 Army deal. Very nice. Yes, that's kind of a Team Yankee thing. I'm nowhere near catching up here, am I? I'm into history and World War II. Love your videos. Make me smile. As combined arms. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Oh, Dwayne, mate, have you got your technology fixed? Plastic Crack Gaming, the guy who I'm not playing BattleTech with tonight. Shackles throws loads of crack tonight. Trepose, hey everyone. Hello there. I don't recognize that name. Are you new here? Does anyone else know Trepose? It's only Tricorn or Bicorn, which Tricorn or Bicorn?
It's going to have to be a Bicorn.
One at a time, boys. One at a time.
Sorry.
Mike.
Bicorn, fore and aft or east to west?
Oh, right. You're going to make the choice about which way.
That's the problem.
More choices.
Yeah.
But east-west is super derpy, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you see, you watch Hornblower, they're all putting it on this way, mate. They're all putting it on that way. And those hats are massive. You see, at one point he's like tucks it under his shoulder, and it's the depth of the hat is from his pit to his elbow. Like, that is a huge hat.
Because Napoleon Bonaparte was the across sideways, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't unfashionable to wear it that way.
Yeah, but didn't Wellington have a north and south?
I think Wellington went for north and south.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But Navy captains would usually wear it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just looks a bit too much, doesn't it, for me? So you'd say Bicorn, but north to south compared to Tricorn.
I'd go Bicorn north and south, yeah.
John?
Yeah, same, because I've got a skinny head, so
you've got a skinny head.
It would look weird with a Tricorn and the Bicorn going east to west. Right.
Okay. So you'd have to go to the north-south.
I have to.
Bicorn. Yeah, I can see it being a popular choice. Unfortunately, the other great thing about the Bicorn, having watched the Hornblower episodes, is they're quite collapsible. They completely fold flat, so they're quite easy to carry.
Yeah.
If you're not wearing it. Yeah. So there's a lot to be said for the Bicorn, but it is massive. Tricorn, a little bit more modest, and 3 is a better number than 2. So I'm going to say Tricorn. Story. Tell you a story, mate. Tell you a story. Just requested to join the Facebook group. Oh, thank you. Let's have a little break from naps. I did a couple naps. Do you mean Napoleonics or do you mean like an afternoon snooze?
Oh,
never take a break from a nap.
Don't take a break from a nap, mate.
No.
Never do that. I must be misreading. I've lost count of how many Shermans I have for Flames of War and Fate of the Nation. Oh, of course, because there's more Sherman variants later, aren't there?
Yeah.
Even more.
Well, we've got the new heavy package. It's
I'm muting the microphone because I was talking, coughing, and Mike was just chatting away there.
Yeah.
You were just saying you've got new Shermans.
Yeah, we've got the platoon of Easy 8s. I've got Jumbos, and I've got a Super Pershing.
Super Pershing.
I think Chaffee's is where I've got to go next, isn't it?
Chaffee's. If you want to get ready for the 50s, moving to Westfield War Memorial Village. Oh, I see. We'll have to talk. We'll have to catch up. I had an idea of combining Oak and Iron with Blood and Plunder in a campaign. Well, this was John's idea. John has many ideas and no filter for them. Potentially way more SPQ. I just love watching those games. You guys make it a lot of fun. Again, we've said it a lot of times. It's a terrible game. But at the core of it, if there's another dickhead that you get on well with, and you can play a game where the characters are called Maximum Erectus Longus, you can enjoy that game. You can have a lot of fun. ASL, nice, quick, simple game to play. No, I think not, subs. I think not. Compared to Case Blue, all right. I don't know. I mean, Case Blue was a difficult situation. Have you tried Blood and Plunder yet? Great game. But the land game is more beginner friendly and more interesting for me. We have not played Blood and Plunder. We have built a handful of the models, and John built the ship, the sloop, so that we could talk about it. But we discovered that somebody else made a much better and more detailed video about that, which is really helpful for us to know. But you really didn't really have anything new to tell you, which is like we found this a bit tricky, so we looked at this guy. The game, no, so I assume it's got a lot in common with Oak and Iron, although I think it uses D10s rather than D6s, D8s. Shackles and Sprues. I'll have it on again at CrackCon.
Yeah,
now
this year.
We have not got tickets for CrackCon, have we, John?
No.
We were a bit late to the party, but I was thinking of emailing the boys and asking them how they feel about us just sort of rocking up, stealing a slice of pizza. Z-listers, is that what it's called, John?
Yeah.
What's Z-listing?
That's a promotion. Z-list celebrity.
You got to turn up with a chainsaw and a baseball bat.
Do you know who I am?
Oh, I see. If okay, Epic looks 90. I haven't in 90 yet. Absolutely. Got a massively badly painted Blood Angels army somewhere.
Nice.
Well, what you'll be pleased to know, Rich John, is obviously that they've rescaled it to sort of 10 mil rather than 6. So everything from before is really small. Speed paint for Battletechs works well. So I've heard this from people, but I haven't looked into it because those mechs have a lot of flat panels, and I've found speed paint's terrible on flat surfaces. That they're better on fabrics and flesh and animals and things like that. John?
No, I tend to agree with you there. But saying that, I've found that the new 2.0 Army Painter stuff slightly different.
Is it a different mix?
Yeah, but
like a special blend.
Yeah, but there's still some of them that really don't like. It seems some colours don't take to flat surfaces where you can get away with some. It's a bit. It's trying to.
Well, colours are composites of other colours, right? And mixed pigments.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes watering it down helps the flow, and you get a smoother finish. But
water or like a medium.
Water. I mean medium. Yeah.
You mean a medium? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right, but there are a lot of cracks in those BattleTech panels. Maybe there's enough. because they're panel surfaces. Maybe there's enough of that for it to flow into it. Be interesting. Kings of War ambush sets look cracking value. They really do, and it's not just that they're expensive. It's expensive to get into Kings of War, because I don't think a Kings of War army set is terribly expensive. The problem is the scale of it. I think for a lot of people, is that even where they may be affordable, you maybe get 120 figures in an army, and that is a lot of painting to do to get started, especially when you pay your first 2 or 3 games, and then discover that the regiments that you built are wrong, and you actually need these ones and those ones instead. So the idea that they offer a very small force starting point, and it's not that small a force. There's probably 80 figures in the Goblin one, 50 maybe. There's a lot. There's still plenty of figures in the ambush, but just as a way to sort of dip your toe in the water. I think as the price of wargaming is swelling with inflation and other things, I think you're going to see more companies looking at this like, what is our game like product? It's not a full starter set in terms of it includes all of the rules and your first army. It's a 1/4, 1/2, 1/3 size version of their game that uses the main rules, but only gives you the bits you need to play that small version. I think that's very much a route that they need to be going down, because stuff's expensive.
Well, I've got the Dwarf Starter Army here, which is 71 models, 70 infantry, a commander, and then there's a cannon in there.
Yeah.
So
70 models, but that's a relatively elite army.
Yeah.
Dwarves are tough. Dwarves are resilient, right? What is that? How many figures you get to start a goblin army? Do you know what I mean? Or undead trash or whatever. You guys do any Conflict 47? Almost being realistic, probably not. It's like everything, it's finding the time to do these things. So if we want to play Conflict 47, we'd basically be playing bolt action. We'd be playing the same with the models that we have for bolt action on the tables that we have for bolt action, with a handful of extra rules. Getting another collection of figures for that it's just not achievable. I know that's not what you want to hear. Doctor, oh no, it's a great name though. Oh no, it's a phrase that my little boy likes. But I just can't see it. I just can't see us getting the time.
Oh no, lemmings. Oh no.
Is it okay? The Germans were famous for their 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, and all of them have green in them, despite what you may have seen in Allo Allo. I've almost fancied the Free French for the Western Desert. Yeah, especially in that really small scale stuff, because they were still quite heavily involved in that. If you want to do like the LRDG type stuff, especially moving below the Qatar depression and so forth, it's interesting.
Well, that's why one of my options I've got the Sahariana option, which is the open topped armored vehicles with the weapons on.
Right.
They were actually a copy of the LRDG.
Right.
But they actually had a better vehicle.
Right.
Who?
The Italians.
The Italians.
Yeah.
The Italians didn't have a better vehicle.
They took the auto blinder.
I think their cars were good.
Were they good?
Their cars and trucks were good. Their tanks were awful. And it's about heavy versus light industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The outer blinde, which is the 40 and the 41 armored car, they basically use the same chassis, but it's an open. The driver sat in the middle of the front of the windscreen, and then there's seats round the side.
It's a touring car.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's up to 3 or 4 firing points out of it, and you've got the anti-tank gun, the 20mm cannon can go in it. So
right. Brooklyn Hopkins' love from New Zealand. Is that because I mentioned? Am I that far behind in the comments? We talked about Kiwis ages ago. Friends General Haig. Good to see you, Andy. Some cars from the tower has been dropped in the local mech workshop. Nice. We'll try again in a couple of weeks. East West was good enough for Captain Aubrey. There you go. Yeah. That's the Patrick O'Brien novels, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Master and Commander.
Yeah. I read the books rather than watching the movie.
Yeah.
The movie was awful.
Shush.
I know people loved that movie. The movie was
all right.
awful.
It was all
The thing that got me is I thought
3 years the magic number.
I kept looking for the first film.
Yeah.
Because the way the title is.
The title is 2 books combined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Master and Commander of the Far Side of the World. And I'm thinking, where's the first book then?
Oh, right.
Surely the sloop John built should be called Sloop Johnny B.
I keep saying that, you know.
Yeah. Kepi or Adrian? Let's play again.
Oh, again?
Oh, I don't know. We might have to get some pictures up for people to see what they look like.
Kepi.
You gone Kepi?
Yeah.
It's a bit French, though, isn't it?
Kepi. Yeah, but so
Kepi's a bit French.
Well, it depends because you've got there's the pillbox top, isn't there? And then there's the more soft top, like the German type of kepi, isn't there?
I'm just thinking, is the kepi not flipping Foreign Legion jobby hat?
Yeah, it's an 1870s. It's a 19th century French.
Yeah,
I'm not down for wearing a French hat, sir.
Well, they were the only 2 options, I'm afraid. So you've got to pick one.
Yeah, but at least Adrian is the name of Rocky's girlfriend.
Adrian! I don't know what an Adrian hat is, so I'm going to.
So we're going to go with that.
Just the French helmet. I believe.
Yeah.
But again, if you remember, if Officer Crabtree in Hello Hello, he wore the pillbox kepi, didn't he?
Yeah, him. I want that.
Rich John says, I think they'll have you on the VIP list at CrackCon. I'm playing the big windy boat game.
Yeah, saw that last time.
Oh, we're gonna have a big windy boat game.
Many boats.
Many windy boats. Yeah. He'll just sneak you in at CrackCon for a small fee, of course. Well, I'm happy to provide a prize for the raffle because mostly we've hustled the raffle. I didn't feel good about it. It's like, I'll just give him some money for the raffle. And then you come away with like armloads of things. Like, oh. Okay.
UKG.
Yeah. 70 models isn't even a bike block if you're going to go big. Yeah, I mean, you're right. But a lot of historical players, they kind of get their period and there they go. But if a company like Mantic wants you to try their fantasy game, the idea of having to paint 70 figures to try a game, I think that's the point I'm trying to make, really. Napoleonic game. Does it need a Prussian corps to arrive? Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's all about the Prussians. I think the Italians did it first, and the LRDG sort of copied. So what heresy? Is it vileness? Or as the modern young people would say, that is fake news, subs. You're just gaslighting me and you're wrong. Free French at the Battle of Bir Hakeem, very brave and hard fighting. Well, there you go. Nearly caught up now. And the show's about 2 minutes. Shakos, I'm sure there can be room for the Prussians. Does MfA sell Flames and Team Yankee individual sprues? We do not sell them on the web store. However, we unbox a lot of products and for review purposes and for projects and so forth. And so Mrs. K puts that stuff on eBay. So if you're interested and you're in the UK, if you look for a particular sprue from Flames of War, you'll probably find that we've got one on eBay. Yeah, that's what Mrs. K does. All right. Well, 1 minute before the end of the show, and I got to the bottom of the list.
Well done.
There we go.
Everybody put a comment on. Just
boom. Although we did start late because of the technical issues, which is why you're not seeing the guys. But the technical issue was, the final one, was the fact that we could not seem to get Mike's camera to turn its audio completely off. So it was just looping back.
And back.
This microphone was picking up what that speaker was sending. You could turn it right down, but not off, and it was just like. So we were doing like the Paul McCartney frog song and things like that. Yeah. It means about some challenges from you last week. Then probably. So where did we get to with the hobbying, guys? Let me point this at there. Look at that. Mike's been working on the dwarf.
3, 4, 5.
6 riflemen and 6 crossbowmen, because in Mantic you don't have to put them in massive
No, you
Into
don't need to
wall.
put them in blocks of 10. You just base them as if they would be for
Yeah.
10, but you spread them out.
Which is
John?
cool. I'm just about to complete number 6 of 20 termagants.
Woo!
Only 6.
Yeah, yeah.
Six
Got to clean them up, haven't you?
of
Gotta clean them.
20.
You got to clean them up, though. You see.
And I have
Got
got this
nothing.
grubby. No, I got this grubby wash on them before I overbrush them when it's dried. And I got the first coat of Feldgau on the crew.
Nice.
This is the ugly stage of the painting process. You know, the thing that I forgot to mention, though, is the big project that we're dealing with while Woolly Mike is here is underneath here, because we are building another board.
Yeah.
We are finally building the desert board.
Thank
So I
you,
had that
Willie.
modular desert board with the tiles, and the problem with that was first 9 tiles were fine. Every time I built another tile, because it was a blend, the top coat was a blend of sharp sand and ivory tile grout, the mix would end up being slightly different, and it was a different color, and it was it aged at a different rate, you know, kind of bleaching in the sun and so forth. So there was, some of them were starting to look radically different from the others, and it just annoyed me more and more. And so for about 2 years, I mean, since we built the grass board, I've had the piece, because the sheet was 8x4 and cut in half before being delivered. I've had the other sheet for ages, and it is under there now drying. Well, that's where we got to. Richard says rhubarb. Better heard, not seen. I mean, that is a line from Lily the Pink, isn't it? One of the many victims of misery in the Lily the Pink song was seen but never heard, I think. But then she took the medicinal compound, you see, which is efficacious in every case, as we know. When's the big board reveal? Well, it depends how it's going. It was a little bit wet when we flipped it over, you know. I'm wondering if I've done huge damage to the one underneath. Now I'm thinking about it.
No, it was drying.
I know it was drying. I'm now actually really nervous. It might have wrecked the grass board.
Nice.
Comments. Will you be able to do a 6x4 with the new board? No. That is a room limitation. That is the space available in this room and the ability to get cameras and move fat old men around it and so forth. One day there will be a studio for Modeling for Advantage once we get to about 800 members rather than 20, and so we actually have a decent revenue coming in, at which point we will get a studio. But in the meantime, the YouTube revenue doesn't come close to us being able to do that. Will Maximus Erectus need to be careful on the sandy board? He certainly will, sir. Certainly will. All right, that is us for now. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. I've told you all the stuff that we've got in the pipeline. We're still putting out a video every week and a live show every other week. That is still the plan.
Michael Wayne says he's better older than a lot of you. I don't know if he's older than me.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
All right. You take care, guys.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.